This video is going to introduce the basics of trigonometry that you may have learned back in geometry. So let's start. So the concept of trigonometry has to do with right triangles. A right triangle is a triangle that has a right angle, hence the name right triangle. The right angle is a 90-degree angle. The right triangle has three sides, two legs, and the third side is called the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the side that is opposite the right angle, and it is the longest side. So the first one says label the triangle with the words hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent. So right now we're going to talk about the relationship between the angle, which is spotlighted here, and the sides. So the first thing is let's locate our longest side, which is the hypotenuse. That's going to be the one opposite the right angle here. So let's label that one first. Now we also have some other things that we have to label. So we have opposite and adjacent. So the concept of trigonometry has to do with the relationship of the sides to the given angle. So if the angle is this angle down here, if we were to take a flashlight and shine a light across the triangle, that would be the opposite side. The opposite side, I'm going to label with OPP for opposite. And then the adjacent side is going to be the one that's directly next to it that is not the hypotenuse. So we already labeled the hypotenuse and got that out of the way. So the other one that's next to this angle is this one here. So that's going to be labeled ADJ. So we have hypotenuse HYP, opposite OPP, and adjacent ADJ. So again, if you shine a light across, that's opposite. Next to means adjacent, and hypotenuse is the longest side. How can we identify the hypotenuse? It's the longest side, and it's the one opposite the 90-degree angle. Number 3, identify each of the sides marked with an X. Okay, so the angle now is actually denoted with a symbol that you may not have seen. This angle is called theta. It is a Greek letter, and it basically just means the angle that we're talking about. So here's the angle, and notice if we were to shine a light across, we would get to X. Thus, this is the opposite side here. Next one, here's theta, and notice that this one, X, happens to be the longest side. So I'm hoping you're thinking that's the hypotenuse, the longest side, the one opposite the right angle. Next one. All right, so now we're going to get into SOHCAHTOA. So SOHCAHTOA is the way that we can remember the trig ratios. So is O over H, Ka is A over H, and TOA is O over A. So let's start with sine. Sine is O over H. That really means opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is A over H. That really means adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. So SOHCAHTOA is the way that you can remember the ratio of the sides to the given angle. Next, we're going to go to number 5. Number 5 says, find each of the following ratios. So it says sine A, cosine A, etc. So notice they're spotlighting the letter A here, so that means angle A. So let's highlight angle A here, okay? Now sine is so. Okay, remember, if you like, you can write SOHCAHTOA here to remind yourself the ratios. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So here's angle A, and if we were to shine a flashlight across, the opposite side would be the 5. And the hypotenuse is the longest side, which is the 13. So the sine of angle A is opposite over hypotenuse, or 5 over 13. Now we're going to do the cosine of angle A. Cosine is Ka, A over H, adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent means next to. So if we look at angle A, the one next to it is the 12. And the hypotenuse we said was the 13. So the cosine of angle A is 12 over 13, adjacent over hypotenuse. And now let's do the tangent of angle A. Tangent is TOA, O over A. That is opposite over adjacent. So opposite was 5 and adjacent was 12. So the tangent of angle A is 5 over 12. So notice these are all just ratios with respect to angle A. Now, down below we have angle B. I want you to try angle B. So I want you to stop the video here and do the sine, cosine, and tangent of angle B. Circle angle B first. That's my first advice. I'm going to actually erase these markings here. I'm going to tell you to circle angle B first and then mark which one is opposite, which one is adjacent, and which one is hypotenuse to angle B, and then fill out the sine, cosine, and tan of angle B. So I'm hoping if you did this, check your work. Did you get the sine of B was 12 over 13? The cosine of B was 5 over 13. And the tangent of B was 12 over 5. Hopefully you got that right. Thus, in conclusion, all you need to know from today's video is that trigonometry is the relationship of angles and sides of a right triangle. You need to know that the sides are either opposite or adjacent depending on the angle, and the longest side is the hypotenuse. Just remember those words SOHCAHTOA to help you to remember the ratio of sine, cosine, and tan.